Hello, dorks. It's Owen. My name is Owen. Perhaps this is the first video of mine that you've ever seen. There are several, at least 7, on the channel right now. All of the videos are unedited, one take straight through, and recorded straight to my cell phone because that is the capacity at which I am able to operate. It's to shoot and to put up, and a hope and a prayer that somebody out there likes them. Usually I'm documenting things that I would normally be doing already with my time, because this is how I like to spend my time. And it seems that many other people like to spend their time similarly. And so today I have for you a video that it's probably going to sprawl a bit. It might not even be that much fun. And I'll probably end up being annoyed by the end of it. And that's because I'm going to, that's several different reasons. One, because my space, my workspace and area is unkempt right now. I got shit everywhere. Look, it's a Volca Beats. That's not mine. Humbucker Island over here. It's a pretty hype little Humbucker Island, though. Got a couple DiMarzios, couple T-tops, couple T-tops. And so basically, whenever I try and move something around my desk, especially like a big unit, it can get a little hectic. And what I'm going to try and do is remove this Tascam 488 Mark II and replace it with this Yamaha MT8Xii Mark II. There's nothing wrong with the Tascam. The Tascam is beautiful. It is one of the best music purchases I've made in the last several years. I love it dearly. So what is this video about? I guess this video is about tape machines. This video is about why I love or why I like using tape machines right now at this point in my life, and I guess upsides, downsides to tape machines. I don't know. I'll tell you about how I use them, what I use them for, and I'm gonna speak extemporaneously about that as I set this, as I kind of like straighten up my shit, kind of reset a little workspace, and like reset my zone, and get this Yamaha set up. This is a fun microphone that I like. Look, we're already doing a detour. This says Music Room Club Boulevard School. It is just like a little tape deck mic, unbalanced, little 1/4 inch. Does it sound good? No. But it does have a really, really narrow frequency response spectrum, and I've used it. I was about to say to great effect, but I've really liked what it has done on places where I want it to be super narrow from the get. I want it to be high, mids, highs, and that's it. Almost low, no low information. And because most of the time I'm mixing on this 8-track machine, the EQ flexibility is not extreme. It's not bad, but it's kind of nice when none of the information that I don't want is sort of already out of the picture. And then I'm able to use that microphone and then a more full frequency response microphone to get nice mixes that I like. So I use that microphone. I go straight into the Tascam 488, and then I use this Unidyne 4 dynamic microphone, made in USA, patented, Shore Brothers Incorporated, Model 548. These aren't things I know. These are just things that I've read to you off the side of it. And from what I gather, this is a old, like, pre-production SM57 before SM57s were a thing. Look, this is a pin of my cousin Kate Groob. She's pretty cool. She's in a band called Kitty Hawk. Lives in Chicago. I love you, Kate. And she's not my cousin. She's my cousin-in-law, I guess. Sure, that's cousin. Look, here's bike light stuff. A Tascam 488 Mark II is an 8-track cassette recorder. Most cassette recorders that you run into are 4 tracks. Most of them are like Tascam 414s or Tascam 424s. I've got a Tascam 424 Mark II that I really like. Once I started to record with them and to demo stuff by myself through them, they were just so enjoyable, and I really felt like kind of a relief from looking at a computer screen. I also am not somebody who has a ton of engineering experience myself in DAWs. I really felt like I was way fucking behind on knowing DAW shit. I really didn't want to give a shit about plugins, but I also really wanted to be able to record myself. And like, once I started messing with, I can't remember why I had a 414, but I did, and I finally got it working and started to record through it, and I was like, oh, holy, this is it. Like, this is great. I love not working on a screen, and I love going immediately from performance to what is there. And it didn't bug me that I couldn't, like, the limitations of tape were all positive for me. DAWs were not solving any problems that I had. And since like kind of anything in my gear life, as soon as I found something that I liked, I had eyes out for it. And I started to learn more, and I started to look and kind of pay attention to what prices were doing and buying stuff when it popped up. I got a 424 Mark II, which replaced my 414. Found that locally from a buddy and fell in love with that because all of a sudden I could use an XLR in, and that was a big deal. And then I joined a couple Facebook groups for Tascams and other tape machines. And then like, what? 8-track machines exist and they just record on the same cassettes? This is like, I really would love one of those. And I mean, this video is already going to be a little unwieldy, so I'm just going to go whole hog. I got a really good price on a Tascam 688 on eBay, and it didn't come with a power supply. And it was the MIDI Studio, 688 MIDI Studio. And I was like, fuck yeah, this thing's like $100. Like, there's no way I'm going to lose money. I'll be able to fuck with the 8-track machine. Immediate buy, don't think twice. I saw that it didn't have a power supply, but who gives a shit? Power supplies are easy to find. Except, apparently, for the 688 MIDI Studio. And the power supply is like a PM01 or some shit, and it just doesn't exist. As soon as I typed in this power supply, the first response is, how do I get one of these power supplies? I just thought it would be a normal ass fucking power supply like I've seen on every other tape machine, and that was not the case for this machine. I was like, fuck. Okay, so I met a couple of people on the Tascam forums and was like, and this guy named Mike Terrell, Terrile, who I've had a relationship with for maybe like the last year, and is like one of the fucking dudes for getting these tape machines up, running, fixed, serviced, modded, and so pleasant to deal with, really clean work, and I can't say enough nice things about him. Well, I reached out to Mike and I was like, this power supply doesn't exist. Do you happen to have one? Because I know you've got just like tape machines on tape machines. And then we talked about getting a power supply custom made. He was into it. And then it was like gonna cost what it was gonna cost. And I was like, man, I don't, which is not a big deal. Like, I like paying people for their time and talent. But he had one of these boys. He had this Tascam 488 Mark II. And it was open to the idea of trading the MIDI Studio for this 488. And I wasn't too sad to say goodbye to the MIDI Studio because it had a bunch of functionality, that was really probably going to be lost on me. So I was like, let's roll. This is the 488 Mark II from Tascam that I got from Mike, and these 1/4 inch jacks on the back are mods that he does. These are individual post fader outs for each track. This is a machine that I've gotten to know. I've really gotten to know and I've used this exclusively for like the past 4 months. I've made some things that don't sound good on it because I'm just working and getting to know a piece of machinery. And I've started to make some things that I think sound really good, or at least make me happy. Even the things that don't sound good on this still really, really bring me joy and are accomplishing the goals that I need, like a music production unit to do. Like, I have not had what feels like a single second of wasted energy with a tape machine since I started using them. So that's great. So why would I want to get off a winning horse? Well, because I bought this, because I found this Yamaha on Facebook Marketplace for $200. And I bought it from a Pentecostal Baptist in some fucking place that was an hour and a half away from my house. And I had a Yamaha MT4 earlier in the year. And I thought that I remember Really, really like the preamps, and also any 8-track machine that you can buy for $200, even if it doesn't work, is an automatic yes. It just the only thing that it can do is make you money. There's a lot of similarities in the feature set as far as I can tell from the Tascam 488 Mark II to this MTX MT8X Mark II. You can record through, I mean, if you're looking for like a discrete and simple comparison video between these two machines, this is not it. And I know for a fact that I'm not going to hit on most of these things, or on all of the things that are important. But similarities are, both units have 2 XLR ins that you can patch to whatever track you want. 1/4-inch ins for all 8 tracks. Adjustable gain, or like a trim pot, for the first 4 tracks, and the ability to record up to 4 tracks at a time. You can record on 5, 6, 7, and 8, but they don't have gain adjustable. You can't. That may not work depending on what you want to do. And you can record 4 tracks at a time. I don't know if I said that or not. The only testing that I did on this Yamaha was whether or not it would record. And I tested that through an XLR and through one of the 1/4 inches, and whether or not it would play back, and if the transport worked with pause and everything, and it went through flying colors. I did not go through extensive tests for any of the like aux sends or the stereo ins and outs, and to be honest, those aren't features that I've used on the Tascam either. The way that I'm using these machines is like pretty direct. I'm not bouncing any tracks down. I'm working within 8 tracks, using 8 tracks or less, recording to the machine with no preamps before the machine. If things are going to get a compressor or any effects on the way into the machine, then it's going to come from a guitar-ish based pedal board, and I'm mixing on the deck into and doing a stereo out to digitize, and that's how I'm doing kind of demos that I feel good about. To take some of these demos and to give them a more finished mix, I'm definitely going to be taking the 8 tracks individually and mixing in the box, but I won't do that because I'm not going to do as good of a job as my friends, and I like giving money to my friends. So I'm setting up this Yamaha basically because I want to learn another interface, and I want to get used to this machine. My ability to actually set things up and like run stuff, test stuff, and let you hear stuff is probably minimal. Like, I think that's more than my brain can compute at once. But maybe I'll give you like a little overhead shot and let you see the control panel. 1 through 8 stereo mixes. There's like group assigns and shit like that. There's all sorts of stuff in this machine that I don't know. The tape to mic and to flip was a little bit confusing when I was using the MT4. And you get between the 2 sets, you have a 3-band EQ with a mid selection and then mid cutter boost frequency selection, which I like. And one thing that is probably going to be a bit of a bummer is that on the Tascam, or a bummer for the Yamaha, is that all of the IOs are facing out from the machine, where on the Tascam you could plug in the top. I guess I feel like my train of thought is sort of coming to a close, and I'm gonna need to stop talking. I can tell by my phone that this video is already 20 minutes long. And in 20 minutes, I have not even been able to get an image of the Yamaha and the Tascam on screen at the same time. Nor have I sort of like begun with a thesis, explored that thesis, supported that thesis, and then like wrapped up in a conclusion. This video, if I was to grade myself, I would give a C at best. It's been meandering. The energy has been, rise and fall, pretty flat, bottom third of the energy spectrum. Content, kind of didn't, I talked a lot, but didn't say much, aside from I like working on tape, and it's cool to have cool stuff. So, that's my grade that I give myself. The grade that I give you is an A+. Thank you for watching.